We have fad diets, we have fad exercise programs, we have fad spirituality, and then we have these buzzwords that everyone hears and everyone tries to follow without thinking about the immense harm and damage that it can do to the human body. What I want to talk about today is an alkaline body. Alkalines become a buzzword. You even have companies promoting alkaline water. You have companies charging you 3.5 to 4 lakhs of rupees for an alkaline machine, which they claim will give you alkaline water from a pH of 8.5 to 11.5. Number one, we don't even need that kind of alkaline water because there is no organism on this planet that requires a pH value of over 8.5. In fact, the human body requires to be in acidic level between 7.3 to 7.8. In fact, anything over 7.8 can be detrimental to the human body, and of course anything below 6.8 can be detrimental to the human body. But we keep looking at social media, we keep listening to people. I have cancer patients calling up for appointments, and the first thing they tell me is, give me a diet, I need to be completely alkaline. I'm keeping my mom alkaline, I'm keeping my dad alkaline, all of that stuff. Yeah, well, we all understand that cancer cells breed in an acidic environment, but this doesn't mean that you go and flood yourself with water and foods that make you completely alkaline. You see, we need to get one thing clear, and I think we need to get that clear on today's video. Number one, we need to understand how the human body works. Number two, we need to realize that we cannot be smarter. We can't be more intelligent than the human body. The human body is built on brilliance and an intelligence that even nutritionists understand how the human body works, which is why we have no major breakthrough in healthcare today. In fact, healthcare is sick care. People are getting sicker and sicker despite having so many doctors and nutritionists and gyms and healing centers and cancer institutes, and that gap has to be filled by lifestyle. Not any lifestyle, but lifestyle with understanding. Today we're going to understand why we also need to be acidic. Now the point is not over acidic, but acidic. Let's dive straight into your stomach. We need to understand that all the food that we eat, if we call food medicine, that food is useless if you don't have the right digestion. Because if you put medicine or food into your stomach and you have the wrong digestion, that medicine, which you may call food, is useless for the human body. If your digestive system cannot assimilate, break down, and digest the nutrients, the carbohydrates, the fats, and the proteins from the food that you eat, it is not medicine. In fact, it's draining you of energy, and it's actually making you sicker and sicker. In your stomach produces acid. That acid has to be at a pH of 1.5 to 3. That acidic. Because only when you have that acidic stomach acid and the right quantity of stomach acid can you even start the process of digestion. Now, for example, if you took a piece of wood and you put it in a glass of stomach acid, let's say we took out a glass of stomach acid from your stomach and we put a piece of wood in it, it would burn, that acid in your stomach would burn a hole in that piece of wood. That is how strong your stomach acid is. And that is the kind of stomach acid we need for digestion. But now your stomach, the human body is built with so much of intelligence. Your stomach has a mucosal lining. It's got epithelial cells in your stomach lining to produce sodium bicarbonate that neutralizes that stomach acid and prevents it from destroying your mucosal membrane. So when your stomach produces acid to digest food, and here we are shoving ourselves and filling ourselves with alkaline water and alkaline foods and all of these things, all of these fads, we neutralize the stomach acid which is required for the digestion of your food. Now, I'm not here to tell you that we shouldn't be alkaline. Yes, because all of us are overly acidic because of our lifestyle, because of overeating, because of excessive medication, because of the side effects of medication and NSAIDs and painkillers and beta blockers and blood thinners and your cholesterol medication and your diabetic medication and your antidepressants, and everything makes your body more and more acidic. And then every second or third TV commercial in America is selling you an antacid. And here in India, we pop antacids without doctor's permission, or your doctors hand it over to you like candy. They give you a prescription of medication which also has an antacid, because they know that the very side effects of the medication they give you is going to make you acidic. So here's an antacid so that you feel good, while the antacid continues to lower your stomach acid, making you more and more alkaline and upsetting the entire digestion process, which is why we never get better. Because the nutrients that we require to reach our cells, to fix us, to build our immunity, to make us alkaline, to give us back our health, to attack the root cause of the problem, never reaches our cells because it gets destroyed in our stomach. And yet we continue to look for quick fixes to feel better all the time and get better quicker and quicker, and we're getting sicker and sicker as a nation. Now let's understand, why do we need stomach acid? Why do we need a low pH of stomach acid? Number one, stomach acid is required to break down every protein that you eat. Let alone we're living in a world where you're being flooded and pushed with protein, and every second person wants to eat more and more and more protein, take more and more protein shakes and all of that stuff. And what do we have growing? More protein intake and more digestive issues. More protein, more acidity, more indigestion, more bloating, more flatulence, and we're living with it. We're dealing with it. Just so that we can take 100 grams of protein in a day, we get acidic, and then we take an antacid because of the acidity caused by the excessive protein that we're taking, and now we have an antacid which is going to cause an autoimmune disorder, and then thyroid and IBS and loose stools and every possible autoimmune disorder that we're aware of. Just because we want to take protein, just because the media makes us believe that we need more and more protein to look better, to feel better, and all of that stuff. And it pains me so much when a patient calls up and says, oh, my doctor told me eat more and more protein because I'm becoming thinner and thinner with chemotherapy. Has your doctor told you that one of the side effects of chemotherapy is loss of muscle mass? Indigestion, the inability to break down protein, because chemotherapy is wiping out all of your stomach acids. And here you have your doctor or the family saying, give me a high protein diet, give me a high protein diet. And that poor patient is being stuffed with protein in the hope that that person will put on weight, but is getting weaker and more tired, with more diarrhea and low immunity, and then the cancer comes back as a metastatic cancer, all because of ignorance, because of that one word protein that we keep shoving into our systems. Number one, stomach acid is required to break down protein. Stomach acid is required to then digest protein and break it down into amino acids that does all the magic. It is not 20 grams of protein that does the magic for you. It is the breakdown of protein into amino acids, which further gets absorbed into your cells and muscles, that does the magic for you. If you have the wrong quantity of stomach acid, when you have the right quantity of stomach acid, it kills pathogens, germs, bacteria, and microorganisms. If you have no stomach acid or low stomach acid, all the infections and bacteria and the fungi coming in through the food that you eat will start growing in your stomach, get pushed into your intestine, and now you have more bad bacteria and less good bacteria. And then you have people shoving in probiotics and prebiotics and kefirs and curds and all of that stuff. Again, symptomatic approach. You know, medicine doesn't have to take the bashing all the time. So does nutrition. Just because there's a probiotic, people start popping probiotics. But they never get to the root cause that, hey, I have low stomach acid. I don't have the right quantity of stomach acid because I'm constantly trying to be alkaline all the time. Low stomach acid is meant to kill all the organisms, all the pathogens, all the germs in your stomach, so that cleaner digested food can now reach your intestine. H. pylori, one of the biggest issues in India, it's allowed to grow in your gut because you don't have the right stomach acid, because you're constantly alkaline. And H. pylori breeds in an area where there is more alkaline and less acids in the stomach. But acids in their power is meant to disinfect your complete stomach. And what happens is then it literally sterilizes your stomach. Let's move to the next point. If you don't have the right amount of stomach acid, you block the absorption of calcium, iron, B12, magnesium, and zinc. And then you have people popping in zinc and magnesium and calcium and all of these minerals and supplements without getting to the root cause of, if I'm eating so well, why do I have a deficiency in the first place? It's because your body is unable to assimilate and absorb all of those nutrients from the food that you eat into your cells because you have low stomach acid levels. Now let's get straight into the stomach again. Let's start from the top. You eat your food. The moment you start chewing your food, and everyone understand this process very, very clearly. This video may be a little bit longer today, but it's important for you to understand. You start chewing your food, you start producing digestive enzymes already. Carbohydrates and fat starts getting digested in your mouth while you chew your food. There's a signal. Saliva goes down your throat into your stomach and signals to your stomach to start producing stomach acid. But when we're eating too fast, we're not chewing our food and we're constantly eating too fast, the stomach doesn't even get that signal to start producing acid. So we said, number one, we send larger pieces of undigested food into a stomach which doesn't have the right quantity of acid to start the digestive process. So your food travels down your esophagus and goes straight into your stomach. Okay? Now think of your stomach. You have the top of your stomach and you have the bottom of your stomach. At the base of your stomach, connecting your stomach to your small intestine, you have a pyloric valve. This is a one-way valve. Food can only go down through the sphincter or this muscle. It's actually called a sphincter, but let's just call it a valve. It's a one-way valve. Food can move from your stomach through this pyloric valve into your small intestine. But now at the top of your stomach, where the food comes down your esophagus and goes into your stomach, you have something called as a lower esophageal sphincter. Okay, now this is a muscle which is two ways. Food can come down through that valve into your stomach, and your stomach can also throw up acid into your esophagus. That is called acid reflux, which is so dangerous, and I can't tell you how many people suffer from this. And they take an antacid to treat the symptom. It is so dangerous. Every time you throw up acid into your throat, your esophagus has small and thin, very delicate tissues, which over time gets damaged, leading to esophageal cancers, leading to more acidity, leading to a change in your voice, a hoarseness in your voice, innumerable problems because acid is never meant to be in your esophagus. Acid is meant to be in your stomach. But now let's come down to the reason of why you have acid reflux and why your stomach throws up that excess acid through this two-way valve. When food enters your stomach, it needs to be highly acidic. If it does not have the right amount of stomach acid or the right pH value, guess what? Your stomach is going to hold on to that food. If your stomach is going to hold on to that food, it's not digesting it. It's rotting, it's fermenting, it's forming gas, it's forming microorganisms, which causes the bloating, the flatulence, the burping, and then all of a sudden, your stomach wants to push down that food into your small intestine through the pyloric valve, but your food in your stomach has to be at a particular pH value for your pyloric valve to open up and let your food into the small intestine. It will not open up until it reaches that pH value. But here we are drinking lemon water and trying to be more alkaline, and so we're contradicting the acid levels of your stomach. And the food continues staying in your stomach, which is why after a meal, people feel tired, people feel heavy and yet hungry. They're heavy because the food, instead of being in the small intestine, is still in the stomach, rotting and fermenting. The nutrients, instead of reaching your cells, is still rotting in your stomach, which is why you feel full, but you still feel hungry. You feel tired after your meal, you feel lethargic, and then you reach out for a coffee or another stimulant, and we just create this vicious cycle of destruction in the human body. Let's get back into the stomach. So here we are with food in the stomach, with low stomach acid levels, not digesting. The pressure builds up, and all of a sudden, your stomach cannot take this pressure anymore, and it throws up acid. Where will the acid go? Not through the one-way valve. That's a one-way valve. It'll go through the two-way valve. Your lower esophageal sphincter. Your body with that pressure will throw up acid, which comes, that burning bitter sensation that comes up your throat, and in worst cases comes into your mouth as a bitter acidic taste. is detrimental to your health. At that point, your body's telling you that, hey, my stomach's not digesting food the right way. Now, when your stomach's at the right pH value, it has the right amount of stomach acid, that lower pyloric valve will now open and send digested food into your small intestine. When that food reaches your small intestine at the right acidic level, the right pH level, two things are going to happen. Okay, your pancreas gets stimulated to produce digestive enzymes that we need to digest your food. And at the same time, your small intestines will produce sodium bicarbonate, which is highly alkaline, to neutralize the acid and prevent it from burning a hole in your small intestine, which is commonly called ulcers or peptic ulcers. So when you have an ulcer, you know how destroyed your stomach and your small intestine is. Now, if your stomach had to push down undigested food through your pyloric valve into your intestine, and if it's not at the right pH level, the pancreas do not get the signal to produce enzymes. So now what happens? And sodium bicarbonate. So now you have chances of having an ulcer or a burning sensation in your gut. Furthermore, your food doesn't get digested because you don't have digestive enzymes. Everything in the body works on chemistry and biology and signaling. Everything works on a signal. Just because you read about a food that is good for you, it's useless if it doesn't trigger the right signal in the human body. So now what happens is you have undigested food at the wrong pH value in your small intestine. Your gut bacteria goes for a toss. You start burning little holes in your stomach lining. You have undigested protein and food molecules that seep across from your small intestine into your blood, a place where it's never meant to be. Your immune system flares up and starts attacking these protein molecules, which have similar structures to your joints, your cartilages, your thyroid gland, your skin molecules. And then we have eczemas, you have psoriasis, you have Hashimoto's and thyroid problems, you have joint pains, you have arthritis, you have Crohn's, you have IBS, and all of these issues only because you didn't have the right amount of stomach acid to digest the food that you ate, whether it was a salad or whether it was a burger. It doesn't matter. You have undigested food in the human body. And that's exactly how the human body works. Now, acid reflux is not just caused by improper digestion. It can be caused due to your NSAID drugs, your antibiotics, your nitrates, your beta blockers, your calcium blockers, your antidepressants, your statins, your chemotherapy, and your radiation. Am I telling you to give up all these medications and treatments? Absolutely no. I am telling you that when you are on these treatments, make sure you change the way you eat and you change the way you live, or your medication will eventually make you sick and will eventually kill you. Because it is destroying the brain of your body. You have one brain in your head, which most of us don't use the right way anyway. And you have another brain in your gut. It is called the ENS. It's called the enteric nervous system. It is a brain in our gut that controls 1,000 different functions and signalings in the human body. So now what happens? We have autoimmune disorders. We have a malnourished body because you have the improper assimilation and absorption of nutrients from that salad you ate into your cells. I don't care if you're vegan. I don't care if you eat 100 salads in a day. If you have improper digestion, you are not absorbing what you eat, which is why you still have sick vegans. You still have sick vegetarians. You still have sick non-vegetarians. It doesn't matter what you eat. It's all about how you digest and absorb what you eat. Now, that's how the human body works. So every time you pop that antacid, you are lowering your stomach acid levels in the human body, and you feel great, and you say, oh wow, my doctor's great. He took away my acidic pain. But what he also did, without telling you, was created a vicious cycle of destruction in your body. Let's not blame doctors. There are so many people who medicate themselves. I know people who take antacids the moment they start drinking alcohol or they start binging and eating junk food, thinking that, hey, I won't get antacid. Here's a little pill that'll give me comfort, so it gives me permission to eat more and more of the junk food that I eat every day. Here you have people who take medications, lists of medications, but they have an antacid to make them feel good. So they believe that, hey, I don't need to make lifestyle changes. I can continue taking medication all the time because my doctor said that's all I need to do. Take this medication and you'll be fine. Well, I promise you, you will not be fine. Because the side effect of the medication and the antacid that you're taking is eventually going to kill you. Now, what are some of the things that we can do to increase stomach acid levels in the human body? It's very simple. If we take apple cider vinegar or coconut vinegar diluted in water 30 minutes before a meal, it stimulates your stomach to produce more stomach acid. Number 2, honey, pure, raw, unheated, unpasteurized honey, not the organic honeys that you pay 500 and 600 rupees for all over the world, which is creamy and clear. It is useless honey. My next video is going to be on how we're scammed by most of the organic honey companies. Unless your honey bottle has raw, unpasteurized, unheated written on it, you're fooling yourself. All you're doing is eating sugar. As simple as that. So honey is also known to stimulate digestion, stimulate your stomach acids in the human body. Again, we don't even need food to stimulate the right amount of acid. The very simple process of chewing your food automatically signals to your stomach to start producing stomach acid. It's as simple as that. Because then we'll have people who say they'll start carrying bottles of apple cider vinegar and coconut vinegar, and we just make our life so difficult. So difficult. Just by chewing your food, you will produce the right amount of stomach acid to do the magic that it's meant to do. Drinking water during your meals is disastrous to your digestion. You drink your water 30 minutes before a meal or 30 minutes after a meal. You do not drink water during your meal. If you're eating spicy food that requires you to quench your thirst with water, that means your body cannot handle spicy food. So you don't extinguish the spicy taste with water just because you want to continue eating spicy food. Never drink water during your meals. Most of your foods will already be cooked in water or have water content, which is enough to neutralize stomach acids and facilitate chyme and facilitate churning and the stomach muscle actions to digest your food the right way. But if you keep drinking water between your meals, again, you are diluting and lowering the amount of stomach acid that the body needs. Another way, traditional Indian custom of sprinkling lemon over your food will also stimulate the production of stomach acid. The Japanese and people in Southeast Asia do this. They eat raw ginger, pickled raw ginger before their meals. You notice this at all the sushi counters, a little raw ginger. That's to stimulate stomach acid again so that you can digest the food that you eat. For people who eat meat, it's protein again. We need to understand that the human body digests protein very differently. It produces a lot of energy to digest protein. So if you want to eat meat, make sure that you have the right amount of stomach acid so that you can break down meat. If you ever take a piece of meat and you marinate it in apple cider vinegar, you'll see that the meat actually starts changing its color and changing its texture. Because what's happening is apple cider vinegar or vinegar is actually marinating or breaking down the meat, making it softer. It starts pre-digesting the meat. And we need that same acid in our stomach. So the whole idea is you need to understand that making your body alkaline all the time is the worst thing that you can do. Everyone's looking at what we can add into our bodies to make ourselves healthier. No one's looking at what lifestyle changes we need to change without having to keep flooding ourselves with nutrients and supplements and powders and concoctions and all of this stuff. If I'm acidic, what's making me acidic? What lifestyle should I change? Should I eat slower? Should I reduce the gaps between my meals? Should I eat when I'm not stressed? Should I make sure I'm having a balanced diet of raw and cooked? 80% raw, 20% cooked. There's no way you will be acidic. No way you will be acidic. Am I drinking too much of tea? Am I drinking too much of coffee? Am I having too many stimulants? How much of alcohol am I drinking that's making my body acidic? So here we are with lifestyle changes that we can make instead of constantly pushing foods and so-called superfoods and health foods into our body all the time. Because I'll tell you one thing. Your digestive system and stomach sees food as food. If it's an apple, if it's a bar of chocolate, if it's a samosa, or it's a tiramisu, your body doesn't know what it's digesting. It's your mind that knows what you're eating. But your food will come down, it'll be chewed, come down your esophagus, get into your stomach, and depending on what is in your stomach, your food will start a whole reactive condition of chemistry, biology, physiology to break down that food. All those illusions and thoughts are in your head. Your stomach will see food as food and do what it has to do like a machine. So we have to understand how the human body works and stop doing all this alkaline rubbish. Yes, people going through chemo and radiation may need a more alkaline lifestyle, but it doesn't mean that you flood your body with alkaline foods at the wrong time. If you're trying to eat alkaline foods when your body's digesting, guess what? You're getting sicker and sicker because you're not absorbing nutrients that can boost up your immunity, which is why there is a method to the madness. There is always a method to the madness. Everything that's good for you may be good for you on paper, but how it assimilates and digests and breaks down in your body is different from every single person. Which is why I tell people, if I have 100 patients right now for diabetes and cancer and cardiovascular problems, each of those 100 people have 100 different plans and lifestyle changes that they have to make, because they are all fundamentally different from one another. From the way they live, their culture, the way they eat, sleep, their stress levels, their previous lifestyle, their medical history. And here we are taking information and trying to apply it to ourselves, thinking it will fix us. So it is no longer just about being alkaline. Yes, it's true. If you are completely acidic, if you have an acidic body, and the best test is a urine analysis, look at the urine, the pH level of your urine, and that'll tell you how acidic or alkaline your body is. And yes, if you are acidic, you got to make lifestyle changes, because it is true that disease, germs, and pathogens breed in an acidic environment. But when you're alkaline at the right time, you have the right balance, and you have a pH regulator in your body which is smart enough to maintain that balance for you. You're not smarter than that system, no way. Your alkaline machine is no way smarter than your own pH regulator in your body. So you make lifestyle changes as simple as your sleep. Do you know that if you have less sleep in the night, you wake up with an acidic body? If you have less sleep, you have more inflammation. What does inflammation cause? The body to be acidic. How will your alkaline foods fix this, when what you need to fix is your amount of sleep? That's the point, people. The third point is, eat your meals when you are relaxed. When you are in the parasympathetic nervous system, that is called the rest and digest system of the human body, your stomach will automatically produce the right pH and the right quantity of stomach acid. But if you're in the sympathetic nervous system, which means you're in fight and flight and stressed and eating on the go and eating while talking to people, talking on the phone, having arguments, having working lunches, watching TV, arguing, you're in the sympathetic nervous system, you are not in rest and digest, there is no way your stomach is going to be producing the right amount of acid at the right pH level. So you see, your resolution is holistic, and we need to start thinking that way. We need to start basing our decisions on the working of the human body, on the anatomy of the human body, on biology, chemistry, and physiology, and not on crap that we keep reading all the time, which sounds so good and so easy, and yet we apply it. If it worked, why am I even doing this video? If it worked, why are there still fat people? If it worked, why are there still people with cancer and acidity and sickness? There you go. There's your answer. It's not working for you because we're not applying it the right way. So everyone, please understand how digestion works. That is the brain of your body. If you are not digesting your food the right way, you will have sickness because you're depriving trillions of cells with the nutrients they need for strong immunity, for energy, to protect you, to detoxify you, and to keep you mentally and physically balanced. Have a great day.